Hey, what's up, everybody? I just finished my workout. I thought that I'd jump on here and talk about one of the first times I remember falling in love with acting. I had always wanted to act. I had always dreamed of it, but I didn't start acting till I was in my mid-20s. So like after I graduated college and moved back home to Chicago, and I didn't know anything. I just wanted to be on TV. I just wanted to be on ER. That's all I wanted to do was be on ER. I got on the internet and I just started Googling auditions, and I found a bunch of like short films and things that I could just go in and audition for. I didn't need an agent. I didn't even know how in the world you even got an agent. I went to a bookstore and I found a monologue book. I think it was for young African Americans because I wanted it to be like a black monologue, you know what I mean? I wanted it to represent. I went and trained at IO, formerly Improv Olympic in Chicago. I had a real terrible bout of stage fright on our first show. It was a horrible experience, and I went home feeling like it's just this big. The next day, like after I kind of, licked my wounds, I swore to myself, I was like, that is never, ever gonna happen again. That was when I decided to audition for theater. So I found an audition for a play called Stoops at the ETA Creative Arts Foundation on the south side of Chicago. Shout out ETA. I ended up doing 2 plays there, but this was the first one. And I went and auditioned for my great friend, Kamisha Jackson. I had no idea what I was doing. I walked in, I did my little monologue. I'm sure it was fine. If I saw it now, I would probably be like, oh, come on, bruh. Ugh. And Kamisha was very nice, and I think she gave me some notes, and she had me do a couple more things before I left, which made me feel good because I was like, oh, she's giving me notes. I felt like if I was trash, she would have just been like, okay, thank you. Don't call us, we'll call you. And then I left feeling pretty good about myself, but I didn't think that I was gonna book it. But I was very proud of myself for going to do it. Lo and behold, a few days later, she calls me, I pull over, I'm like, yo, yeah, is this KEIR? Is this Kamisha? I'm like, oh, hey, Kamisha, how you doing? She casts me in the play, she tells me, I have the part. Man, I was fired up. Man, you couldn't tell me nothing, yo. I got to meet my co-stars, and they were all awesome. Like, it was just a perfect thing. It was, Rhonda and Adelia and Jen. I really felt like I was really doing it. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally actually doing this. We were doing rehearsals, and then we got the costumes. And so at this point, I'm thinking, man, it can't get any better than this. But then we got into Tech Week, and I didn't even know what Tech Week was. I think I asked Rhonda, I was like, what is Tech Week? And she was like, well, you do the blocking for them, and they put the lights in and the music and all these things. And I was like, okay, cool. So we backstage, rehearsing, joking around, whatever we're doing. And they called me out for my first cue. But when I went out there and they had turned down the house lights, and it was actually just the lighting design. Like the street seemed like it was real. The pavement that was painted seemed like it was actually real concrete. Watching that soft, manicured, colorful light bounce off of my hands, my costume, my co-stars' faces was truly like a supernatural thing. It really felt like magic. I was completely in awe, and I really began to understand the beauty of what we were collaborating to make. We weren't just acting out parts in a script. We were telling a story, giving something to the audience that they could completely connect to on an emotional level and a psychological level and almost a physical level. Like, because there's nothing like theater when you're right there and you can see the actor, you can almost reach out and touch him. And it was in that moment that I remember being so thankful that I had conquered my fears and just went for what I wanted to do, because it illustrated, in real life, in real time, that my biggest dreams were small potatoes compared to what God had waiting for me, what God had planned for me. Stepping into that world made acting real, it made storytelling real, it made me feel like I was a part of something bigger than me. I felt so blessed and special to be a part of it. And we had a ball. We really completely enjoyed each other as a cast, and we had so much fun with Kamisha. She a gangster, she don't play, but she's so wonderful and such a warm person. And we ended up being nominated for a bunch of awards and winning a few. Me and Jen both won awards at the Black Theater Alliance Awards, and that was really cool. And it was just one of the greatest moments of my life. And I thank Kamisha so much for seeing something in me me and bringing me on to that, because I think we all benefited from it in a way, being on stage and being terrified again for many moments. I remember there was a scene where I had to do like a cool pimp walk, and I was like, I've never walked cool in my life. I don't know what this is. Every time I went out there, I was terrified, but I went out there. I never froze up. I never let what happened to me back on my improv show happen again. And that was what I was most proud of. And being under those lights every night, you know, swimming in that atmosphere of light that you couldn't get anywhere else was just amazing. And I'll never, ever forget it.